Fancy a trip back to Midworld? Well, I hope so, because that's definitely what we're doing here. Here are 19 Reasons to Read The Wind Through the Keyhole, a Dark Tower novel. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Dave. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is a place where I'm taking you through the works of Stephen King in chronological order and giving you 19 reasons to read each of his books. Go and explore what else I've done if you fancy it, and have a look at some of the specials I've done out there as well, including my rankings of King by each decade. The most recent one being my countdown of Stephen King in the noughts. Go and have a look. And maybe click subscribe as well so you don't miss any videos in the future. In this one, we're up to 2012, the year Stephen King released a new Dark Tower book called The Wind Through the Keyhole. So I'm going to give you 19 reasons to read this one, and I'll cluster any spoilers together at the end and give you warning, so if you need to dodge them, you can dodge them. But otherwise, let's get into it. So this is technically the 8th Dark Tower book, but it's... So this is technically the 8th Dark Tower book, but it's probably easier to see it as Dark Tower 4.5 because that's where it sits in the chronology of the Dark Tower saga, in between Wizard and Glass and Wolves of the Callar. You know what that means? That means the whole quartet is there waiting for you. So King got the idea for this initially from just a single short story that he was chewing over and wanted... Whatever. King initially got the idea for this from a short story that he was chewing over and wanted to set in the Dark Tower world. He then decided to build a couple more short stories around it and almost pull together a Dark Tower fairy tale collection. And the result was this book that keeps falling over. So this one has got a lot of lines running through it. You'll remember how Roland likes to tell a story, yeah? So the main story of this one is Roland telling a story in which he tells another story. So it's a story within the wider story. You keeping up? So interestingly, King sort of put this one out to public vote. On the 1st of December 2009 on his website, he put a poll up asking his fans to let him know whether they would prefer him to write a new Dark Tower novel or a sequel to The Shining, Doctor Sleep. The votes were tallied, they were verified, they were double verified, presumably, and the winner was announced. And the winner was, of course, Doctor Sleep. Yeah, I know, that proved to be a pretty useless exercise because not only did King end up writing and publishing both of those books, he actually put The Loser out first. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me springs to mind. So the first edition cover, which I will overlay in front of my face at some point, features a wonderful piece of art by the Marvel Comics artist Jay Lee. Now this piece of art quite rightly gets a lot of love out there, but I really struggle to see past the terrible font choice. But that might just be me. So let's try and get into the hooks of these stories, shall we? We'll start with the overall story that this thing is. So we pick up where Wizard and Glass left off, and Roland and his gang are trying to get across a river. They go across on some old man's ferry, and this old geezer warns them that a stark blast, a big fuck off storm is coming. Now, Oi had been trying to tell them this anyway, but anyway, the human says something so they all react, and they scrabble to find shelter. And they do just in time before the stark blast starts raging, and they've got a bit of time to kill. So to do that, Roland does what he does, probably only second best to shooting people. He tells a story. The story of the Skin Man. So the Skin Man is when a young Roland and his friend Jamie de Curry are sent to the town of Debaria to try and investigate what's going on with this Skin Man, a shape-shifting thing that has been terrorizing the town. But not long after they get there, they happen across a survivor of the Skin Man's latest attack, a young boy called Bill. Now Roland is able to hypnotize Bill using his bullets technique and work out a bit more detail, enough to pull together a list of suspects. So while those suspects are being rounded up, again, there's more time to kill, so Roland decides to tell Bill a story, and this time he tells him the story of The Wind Through the Keyhole. So The Wind Through the Keyhole is more of a fairy tale, fable type story, and it tells the story of young Tim Ross and his mum Nell, who has recently been widowed, and they're in a whole lot of trouble with the taxman. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because frankly I don't have the energy, but bad things happen, there's a fuck off tiger, there's some fairies, there's a bit of revenge, you know, standard fairy tale stuff. So after that, we jump back to the Skin Man story to see how that one resolves. So after that, we jump back to our regular quartet who get through the storm, pack their shit up, leave and head off towards what would eventually be Calla Bryn Sturgis and the adventures of Wolves of the Calla. I'm not saying it's pointless, but it's not pointless. All that being said, if you're a Dark Tower junkie, you'll get a lot out of this one. The way the stories weave into the other stories really does hook you in and sucks you further and further into that world. Like I said, if you're a Dark Tower head, you'll enjoy being there. And actually, even if you've just got a passing interest in the Dark Tower, it's nice to pick up this cast of characters 8 years after the finale. And you know, there are a lot worse places you could be spending your time when you're reading. On the other hand, as I've already hinted, it doesn't feel like this one was absolutely necessary. It's definitely worth reading once, but after that it is, for me at least, just a little bit meh. Something that is in this one's favour is that it whizzes by. King gets a lot of stories done in quite a small amount of pages, particularly compared to some of the other Dark Tower books. It's a breezy read and it's fun while you're there. Okay, we're going to jump into spoiler territory, so if you need to skip out here, please do so and come back soon. In the Skin Man story, Roland visits a women's refuge called Serenity, where his own mother actually took shelter after her affair with Martin Broadcloak. Now, after Roland deals with the Skin Man, the women in Serenity hand him a note from his own mother that is basically forgiving him for what he would eventually do. Kill her. It's a really nice way of giving Roland closure on that quite traumatic event from his life. A nice little connection for you here. Roland kills the Skin Man with a specially crafted silver bullet, which of course is a very nice nod to both Cycle of the Werewolf and It. Another connection, aside from it being a Dark Tower one of course, is that Roland uses the old bullet hypnosis trick, which he does in lots of the other Dark Tower stories too. For the Wind Through the Keyhole bit, King really shows that he is a fantastic spinner of a fairy tale. He can really suck you into these weird worlds and still have it feeling like a folksy traditional story that you probably heard when you were growing up, even though you didn't. And the twist of the big fuck off tiger actually being a magician stuck in the big fuck off tiger's body, yeah, I liked that. Finally, it's a good job the quartet sheltered from the Stark Blast where they did, because that building was the only one that wasn't levelled by the storm. Although you already knew they survived the storm because there were 3 more books in the chronology after this. Like I said, not pointless, but not pointless. There we go, 19 reasons to read The Wind Through the Keyhole. Give it a go at least once, and hey, let me know what you thought of this one. Maybe I just like it a lot less than other people. But tell me what you thought, and if you haven't done so already, why not check out my ranking of the entire Dark Tower series? If you enjoyed this and you'd like more, then click around my channel, there's a lot more for you to explore. And if you want more Dark Tower stuff, there's also a complete guide to the Dark Tower, including all of the related books beyond just the 8 core ones at the heart of it. It's quite a chunky video, but it's also quite a popular video, so go and have a look. See what you think. And if you want to come and chat on Instagram, I'm at Dave Musson. Always happy to hear from you. Thanks as always for stopping by, and I will see you very soon.